All right, good evening. The time is 5:34, and I call this meeting to order. This is a meeting of the Curriculum Committee meeting. Let me start with roll call. Janie Lopez,
Present.
Mr. Oscar Medrano, Mr. Rudy Corona,
Present.
Dr. Ariel Cruz,
Present.
Mr. Orlando Lopez, Mr. Mario Silva,
Present.
Ms. Teresa Cervellon,
Present.
Mr. Stephen Weller,
Present.
and I am here. So we move on to the next item, which is public comment. All right, audience participation at a board meeting is limited to the public comment portion of the meeting designated for that purpose. At all other times during a board meeting, the audience shall not enter into discussion or debate on matters being considered by the board unless requested by the presiding officer. At a board meeting, the board shall hear all persons who desire to make comments to the board. A person who wishes to participate in this portion of the meeting shall sign up with the presiding officer or designee before the meeting begins and shall indicate the topic about which they wish to speak. For each topic, a speaker shall be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to make comments. If more than 10 speakers are signed up to speak on the same topic, all additional speakers on that topic shall be limited to 2 minutes. A person who needs to address the board through a translator shall be given 6 minutes to make his or her presentation. Specific factual information or recitation of existing policy may be furnished in response to inquiries, but the board shall not deliberate or decide regarding any subject matter. So with that said, our first speaker is Ms. Mary Maney. Welcome.
Ms. Sevion, Mr. Moreno, Board, thank you for taking time to let me speak. One of the things I wanted to talk about was the compensation plan that you've got listed as on the agenda. And I do notice that for teachers and the faculty that are helping with tutoring and stuff like that, you're streamlining the tutoring pay package from 35, 40, 45 to 40 across the board. For most, it's not going to make any real difference except for the people that are having to keep track of the time and figure out the pay for it. It does make it a little bit easier. So I am glad that you are choosing that middle rung rather than bringing it back down to the 35 section. The other thing is, I just wanted to let you know that San Benito High School, we've got the Green Power teams. We're getting ready to host the very first Resaca Rally, Saturday, October 15th. And we're going to be running it at the VMA. So we will be sending invitations to you so that you can come see what we are doing and what we present to our community area. And also, we are going to actually be participating in our first archery tournament, October 18th also. So just one of those that we are growing, we are showing, and making San Benito a little bit better known in our area, just to keep you up with what we're trying to do there. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Maney.
Can you just let us know the time for October 5th?
October
15th? 15th?
We start racing at about 8 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Mr. Jesus Aguilera. Mr. Aguilera, welcome.
Okay. We're going to start with the rebuttal. At the end of the day, you don't pay anybody $1.2 million before he gets the work done. Okay? At the end of the day, you don't let that superintendent spend $6.6 million on his credit card, and then you don't even know where the money and the points were spent. at the end of the day, he can't use his personal thing to get points for where he stayed and everybody else stayed. Again, it might not be illegal. Okay? My last one is, they kept saying it's not illegal. Well, let me tell you, having an affair is not illegal, but it is unethical. So we'll get off of that topic. Guarantee a win. Okay? I have 2 board members here that was called by the ex-board president. Okay? They were asked, we will pay for your campaign and guarantee you a win. And they're sitting here right now. One said yes, the other one said no. So the question is, where do you stand? Chick-fil-A, ex-board president, goes to Chick-fil-A, runs into a friend of his who's the manager. Okay? He sees this young lady, a student at San Benito High School. He tells the manager, her mother is a big problem. And the fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree. That young lady, she's going to be trouble. And again, it's not illegal. It's just unethical for a board member to go and criticize a young lady. Not good. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to ask. Because everybody's asking me. And said, Chuy, if they would have asked me the same question, I would tell them, ¿qué te importa? But where do you live now? After you got married. Thank you.
Mr. Aguilera, thank you for your public comment. The next person to speak is Ms. Rosalinda Garcia. Ms. Garcia, welcome.
Mr. Aguilera, Dr. Carmen came from a 3A school, and we're a 6A. Like I said before, he had a small, I think it was 3, 1 elementary, junior high, but that's what the previous school board, whom they hired. And the audit report is reflecting what the previous school board hired. I mean, some people had him way up there. And yes, Mr. Aguilera, we heard a lot, like no laws were broken, even from Mr. Brighton here. This paper, I started to laugh when I read it in 3 sections, 2 days, because I started to laugh, all these comments. And yes, oh yeah, no laws broken. Some employees have been terminated. They didn't break the law, but they broke policy accordingly. So what's with no laws broken? And I'm going to challenge Mr. Del Valle, especially like, did he do his homework like Michael Vargas would say? He states here, it states here that Mr. Palacios, that the multi-facility was finished in 5 months. Is that an error? Or did Mr. Brighton really say that? No, taxpayers, it's taken more than a year to finish that multi-facility, if it's really complete already. And then this bond, yes, we need to focus on the bond, the expenditures. From the beginning, I was against it. They were doing like an auditorium, state-of-the-art. They were planning an auditorium as big as La Jolla, and we were much smaller than La Jolla, and they wanted to go big. I think, and this about estimating, so in case it didn't pass, so this bond committee and administration wasn't being truthful with the committee, with the public, the actual cost that it was gonna be, and I think we're really gonna come out under. I mean, I wouldn't hesitate for you to maybe already hired a private contractor to look after our interests. And there's a board member that doesn't seem to have our interest first, more his personal interests and Mr. Palacios and heaven knows who else. It was very evident, and the community sees it, Mr. Board Member. They already see where your interest is at. Yes, I hope Mr. Del Valle gives someone to do their rebuttal regarding the forensic audit. Just like he gave Mr. Palacios the time, let's give someone, administration or a board member, some time. But yes, going back to the bond,
Ms. Garcia, your time is up.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, next item on our agenda is item 2.1, review and discussion of the affiliation agreement between San Benito CISD and All Valley Family Medical Clinical Education. Ms. Cervellon?
Yes, sir. So tonight I'm going to have Dr. McGee and Mr. Rosas come forward so that they can go ahead and outline about the affiliation between San Benito CISD and the Family Medical Clinic.
Good morning, Board President Moreno, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Servillon. We're here this evening to discuss the affiliation agreement between San Benito CISD and All Valley Family Medical.
Thank you, ma'am. And just like she said, it's All Valley Family Medical, another one of our MOUs that we have, another partnership that we're getting together with our health science. This is specifically tied to our health science 2, which is our senior group that will be doing clinicals. And this is just another partnership, you want to call it, that we're going to have out there, which is really good because they're starting to come out and they're starting to request kids from San Benito to go in there. The reputation that we've had at Valley Baptist is now spreading around the Harlingen and San Benito area where, you know what, we need to bring some of the kids from San Benito in. So again, this is another part of one of those agreements.
Board members, any questions? Okay, becomes an agenda item.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question on this. Mr. Weller?
Yes.
Okay, so my aunt is the representative for this clinic. Do I have to fill out a form?
It would depend upon whether there was any expenditure of district funds.
As far as I know, there's no expenditure of district funds.
Dr. Cruz, I would be happy to speak with you and evaluate whether any disclosure is necessary.
Okay, no problem.
We can certainly handle that and make sure that if one is needed, that we make sure that we take care of that.
Okay, thank you.
Before any board action on that matter.
Thank you.
But
All right, moving on to agenda item 2.2, review and discussion of the memorandum of understanding between San Benito CISD and Region 1 ESC Health and Human Services Commission, Early Childhood Intervention Services for the 22-23 school year. Ms. Cervellon?
Yes, Dr. McGee, I think Ms. Larissa Vial will be joining us for this. This will be through our special education program. Yes.
Good evening. So the purpose of this MOU is we have students who are serviced through special education that come from early childhood intervention prior to the age of 3. Typically, our students are serviced by Easter Seals, Rio Grande Valley, Harlingen. Early Childhood Region 1 services Brownsville. We are butted up to Brownsville, our border. So if on occasion we have an address that falls in the Brownsville area, then we would partner up with the service center to provide these services.
Board members, do we have any questions? Thank you, ma'am. It becomes an agenda item as well. Moving on to item 2.3, review and discussion of the agreement between San Benito CISD and Friends of the Museum Enrichment Program for the 22-23 school year. Ms. Arreon?
Yes, Dr. McGee will also be walking us through this MOU with our historical societies.
Thank you, Board President Moreno, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Ms. Servion. This Friends of the Museum Enrichment Program agreement will, it is a cost of $8,000 that we would pay. And for this, we will have guided tours for all grade levels, from first grade and higher, education packets for teachers. It will include live presentations in classrooms upon request. And this is assistance and resources for students researching local history, and particularly for the Calendret Black History Museum, the museum and the museum in San Antonio, which is comprised of the San Benito Historical Museum and the Freddie Fender Museum. This also includes in-service classes for teachers in all grade levels, a Telling Our Stories program, expanded museum hours when needed, and then presentations to any school clubs as requested. And again, this is a compensation cost of $8,000 and will run through the school year.
Is that a one-time fee?
It is paid each school year.
Oh, each school.
Yes.
I guess my question on that fee is to cover, I would imagine, cost of the people making those presentations to our students if they choose to go, just personnel, maybe the cost of running the museum. Is that what that cost covers?
Yes, it does cover the programs, services, and facilities,
And the entry fees.
and the
right?
entry fees, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is this a new program that the Friends of the Museum has created for us, or, because this isn't a continuation, right?
No, this program has been here before.
Oh, so it is a continuation, it's just
Yes.
basically, okay, no problem.
Any other questions, board members? Okay, this becomes an agenda item as well. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is item 3.1, any committee concerns? Are there any concerns, board members? If not, I adjourn this meeting at 5:52.